Anti-government protests rocked Kenya on Wednesday, leaving a mixed number. We're not quite sure, and we're hopefully going to try and get to the bottom of the casualty list. Many that have been hospitalized with gunshot and rubber bullet wounds. The demonstrations, which coincided with the one-year anniversary of similar deadly protests, were largely driven by growing public anger over the proposed tax hikes under the Finance Bill 2025. As tensions escalated, Kenyan authorities repeatedly deployed a heavy police force, and several major television stations were temporarily taken off air, raising serious questions about press freedom and democratic expression. To unpack these developments and their implications for Kenya's political climate, we're now joined by Tervil Okoko, who's the communications consultant and former chairperson of the Kenya Union of Journalists. Thanks very much indeed for joining us, and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, and good morning, listeners.
Tervil,
how is Johannesburg this morning?
We are not bad. We're not bad. Much safer than Nairobi.
You sure? I think Nairobi is safer today than yesterday. Yes, yesterday we had some issues. Yes, all right. That is true.
Let's start then with what unfolded yesterday. There were scenes like, what were the scenes like on the ground in Nairobi and across the country?
Yeah, we had incidents. I think we had demonstrations across the country that affected a total of 25 counties out of the 47. We have in Kenya, we have 47 counties. And out of these 47 counties, 25 experienced protests mounted by what we call GenZs. These are young people who are born probably after 1996, 95. And they're both men and women who are highly courageous, and they were commemorating the death and injuries suffered by some of them. There were not few, maybe about 80 or 90 of them, around that figure, on the same date of the 25th of June. 2024. So that was supposed to be a commemoration day that they decided to mount a protest to mark that day, and also to remember the fallen heroes, what they call the fallen heroes, the ones that were killed during the protest that was mounted to protest the finance bill that was presented in Parliament by the government in last year, in 1 year ago. Yes.
Let's try and get some numbers if it's possible. The official toll says that at least 56 people were hospitalized. Do we know what number it is in terms of hospitalizations and, sadly, fatalities?
I think by today it would still be a bit premature to talk about the exact numbers, because as you have heard that this protest took place almost all over the country. 25 counties, that is a bit widespread, and in most of these towns, major towns and cities. And you'd find probably some of the incidences, probably the casualties, either deaths or injuries, maybe either been underreported or not yet reported. But I think what we are having, that conservative figure of the 56, is what is being reported by some of these agencies, especially the human rights organizations and probably the Red Cross, that are going around probably recording the injuries or deaths. So far the 56 they are talking about, that is just currently the formal figure, but don't be surprised that either the figure is likely to go up, because there could be certain injuries that are yet to be recorded in the facilities, or they are already in the facilities, but they are not recorded or associated with the protests yet. So that is something that we are yet to see. But we anticipate. I think the protests were widespread. There was a lot of use of force by the security agencies, basically the police. And I think you would expect the injuries to be higher than probably even that 56. So I would think the 56 figure is highly conservative
Right.
in regard to, if you take it in consideration with the amount of force that was being used by the police.
And that's where we're going to have to leave it for now. Thank you so much indeed for joining us on the program, Tervil.
Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Asante sana. That's Tervil Okoko, Chair,
Okay.
Communications Consultant and former Chairperson of the Kenya Union of Journalists.
Africa. It's time to plug into the heartbeat of the continent. Tune in to Channel Africa, your go-to radio station that broadcasts in 5 different languages.
L'Afrique du Sud célèbre la journée nationale du
Kabla hujaitwa kwa jina la Double K
or more of our forests have been destroyed.
Tamo kutulibwanji ndi
Partido Africano da Independência da Guiné.
Channel Africa represents every corner of this amazing land. From Lagos to Cape Town, Nairobi to Dakar, we've got you covered with the freshest news, music, and cultures. So, turn up the volume, feel the rhythm. Enjoy the conversation. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Download the SABC app and take Channel Africa with you everywhere you go. Wake up, Africa. Peter Ndoro and Asanda Beda are here to help you rise and shine. Weekdays, 6 till 9 a.m. Central African Time. Only on Channel Africa.
Right, let's continue on that story, moving to Kenya, or staying in Kenya. Reports say dozens of people have been killed and hundreds injured during nationwide protests in Kenya as outrage grows over police brutality and government corruption. The violence marks the anniversary of last year's deadly youth-led demonstrations. Ernest Cornel, a senior communication officer at the Kenya Human Rights Commission, joins us now to discuss in terms of, from his perspective, what happens and what this means for human rights. Ernest, thank you for joining us. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Asanda. How are you? How is South Africa?
We are well, thank you so much. Thank you for making time. The reports are conflicting in terms of how many people have been killed, how many have been injured. We now just spoke earlier to Tervil, who was saying that it's still early to confirm those reports. What do you know in terms of how many people have been killed and injured, according to latest figures?
So as at 5 p.m. yesterday, 11 people had been shot dead by the police. Over 400 had been injured. Some sought medical attention and were discharged. About 83 were still in hospital. And among those, at least 15 were nursing gunshot wounds. 61 had also been arrested. Yes, it's true. It's still too early to confirm the death toll as a result of police violence, because the data I'm giving you was as of 5 p.m. yesterday. Today we are going to. The situation was really developing quickly, and we are likely to see even worse. So today we are going to confirm the actual toll, the actual number of casualties as a result of police violence yesterday. So if we'll be speaking around 2 p.m., the figure would have changed drastically.
We saw images on social media of media reporters dressed in helmets, dressed in bulletproof vests, but this was supposed to be peaceful protests. What happened, if that's the image that we are even seeing? They look like they're reporting from a war-torn area.
This is what usually happens when Kenyans go on the streets to demand for their rights. They present themselves peacefully, but police come with excessive force. They will come with batons. They will come with water cannons. They will come with guns, bullets, tear gas, and they are trigger happy, and they unnecessarily use force. That's why you'll see reporters covering themselves, getting jackets labeled press, getting their helmets, so at least to protect themselves from any kind of brute force from police. So this is the making of the state.
What kind of accountability is realistically possible in Kenya's current climate? And as it speaks to human rights, you say that things seem to be getting worse.
Yeah, so how accountability looks like is for those who pulled the trigger yesterday, they must be held accountable. They can't walk away from this. They must face the law. Those who caused the protest of yesterday to take place, they also must face the law. Remember, yesterday people took to the street to demand justice for the people who were killed during the protests the same time last year. You'll think that the state will learn and stop violence, but instead they still went ahead and killed people. The same demands that these people are trying to make to bring forth to them to stop. This is something that it appears that it's an ending, and we are demanding that it has to stop. Something else that also triggered people to go on the street was the death of school teacher Albert Ojwang. Albert Ojwang was arrested in Homa Bay, taken about 300 kilometers to Nairobi, and died in police custody. As always, Kenya has a history of covering up such crimes, and they were claiming that Albert Ojwang banged himself on the wall and died. So they were claiming that he committed suicide. But autopsy reports revealed something else, revealed that Albert Ojwang was tortured to death.
Well, we're going to leave it there for now. And thanks for your side of the update, Ernest. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Asanda.
Ernest Cornel is Senior Communication Officer at the Kenya Human Rights Commission, giving us another angle to what's happening there in terms of protests and what these mean for human rights. The President William Ruto of Kenya, saying that he publicly backs the police, but also calling protesters a threat. How do peaceful protesters turn from peaceful to being a threat? We don't know. That story we'll be covering as it continues to grow and unravel.
No matter where you are, Channel